Now I'm sharing my screen. 1 second. It's not working. Ah, sorry. Usually it shows me that I can just share.
So while it does come around to doing your bidding, you can start off with the introductions, and then while I'm introducing you, then you can, just tweak its ears and make sure it listens to what you're telling it to do. Yeah, so you can start.
I'm still trying to find out what's
Okay, so while you're trying to do it, let me do the introduction. Let me introduce you.
Yeah.
I'll introduce you while you try and do that.
Maybe Apurva, otherwise I can send you the link and you share it as a host. Is it possible for you?
I have that with me. So you just take a while I introduce you, and if it doesn't work, then I'll switch it on at my end. So introducing Dr. Julia Kral, who's truly a wonderful human being, which is why we have aligned our paths, and which is the reason why we are here together doing this and more. And she's a board certified pediatrician, epigenetics coach, health consultant, certified life coach, and mother of two wonderful children. For more than 15 years, she has supported people on their health journeys through her work in hospitals, rehab centers, social pediatric centers, and pediatric practices. She continues to work actively in pediatric medicine and regularly provide emergency medical services. Throughout her medical career, Julia increasingly recognized that health is about far more than treating symptoms. This realization inspired her to deepen her studies in epigenetics, metabolic health, nutrition science, micronutrients, lifestyle medicine, and personal development. What I admire most about Julia is her ability to bridge science and practical everyday life. She helps people understand how nutrition, metabolism, hormones, sleep, stress, movement, and mindset influence health and well being. Her goal is not simply to manage disease, but to actively cultivate vitality, resilience, and long term health. Julia often says that healthy adults are the most important role models for the children. Her vision is a society that values health before it is lost and empowers people to take ownership of their well being through knowledge, prevention, and conscious living. So, this is where our paths aligned, where both of us are of the view that uh, anyone can take ownership of their wellness through wisdom, which will enable them to live consciously. And when they live consciously, then prevention of most ailments and even reversing existing ones is not a far cry. So that's Dr. Julia Kral.
Thank you so much, Apurva. When you talk about me, I'm feeling really honored and cherished. So yeah, I'm always embarrassed when someone is talking about me in such a way. You have a really good way in understanding people. You understood me very well. And I got to know you only a few months back, but we noticed that we are really aligned on our path, as you said. And yeah, we have both a deep understanding about holistic health. So I would like to introduce you as well. So Apurva has over 25 years been facilitating wellness workshops, retreats, and talks across India, Bhutan, France, Germany, the UK, and the United States. His work has reached a remarkable diverse range of participants, including healthcare professionals, educators, psychologists, also army and police personnel, government officials, business leaders, students, monks, nuns, priests, and many others. So a variety of people globally he has influenced. He integrates the Ayurvedic, Mama, we will talk about Mama later, holistic well-being and awareness-based practices with a particular focus on helping people cultivate a greater balance, a resilience, and also a self-awareness. So he's also like a mentor for me in this regard. He has been a daily practitioner of dynamic stillness. Most of you know him better than me. You were practicing with him meditations since March 2000. He has been facilitating numerous retreats, workshops, train the trainer programs, and he also has been offering daily online dynamic stillness sessions to participants from around the world since the COVID pandemic. Up to date, more than 7,000 sessions. And I value about him that, yeah, he has the ability to create a simple and profound change, reflection, and awareness for everyone he's talking to. So it is a pleasure that we met and that we will continue to work together on certain topics. Today we will share this webinar with you and later some information about a retreat that we are planning in September in Germany together. So now I ask you to share the presentation if possible, that we can.
Sure.
And everyone else except us can be on silent mode.
Okay, is it visible?
I send it to you as a link in your.
No. Is it visible? One second.
Not yet.
Okay, now?
Now it's coming. Yes.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So you go on full presentation mode. If you click on share on the right.
See, I'm not familiar with Zoom.
You go on the right, share.
Share, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Share settings. Full screen.
Full screen. And now it should open up. Try again. Sorry.
Okay, maybe it has got something to do with my.
No, then go on present. Go on present. Next to share on the left, you see present. On the right side. Further on the right, there's the button share, and close to that button
is layout.
Present, it says.
As better? No. Okay, I think let's just go ahead. Let's not spend too much time with this. As long as this is visible, let's go ahead.
Did you try present?
There is no present here.
No. On the right side, there's a button. It says share, and next to it, there's a button. It says present.
No, there's a button which says pause and then layout. So I think.
Okay, I think I see it.
Just yeah.
Sorry. Okay, but I think everyone can see the slides at least in smaller size, smaller version. So let's just start. Okay, I welcome you again. The topic or the headline to our presentation is Bridging the Gap between science, mind, and body. So in a world that constantly asks us to do more, to move faster, to stay connected, simply pausing for like 1 hour, we are doing it now, is becoming very special, extraordinary. As I was introduced, a pediatrician, and I have spent many years studying disease, studying illness, and helping families navigate through their health challenges, especially with their children or in their families. And I know that I can help them with many diagnostic tools, but one question was always more important than getting a diagnosis. It's what actually creates health. So it's not only about disease, because health is more than the absence of illness. And we want to show you today or explore with you different perspectives that combine neuroscience, lifestyle medicine, and lived experience. Your body is not working against you. Your body is constantly adapting to the life you are living. So, Pova, yeah, maybe you share what your part will be in this webinar. So my part is like the medical part, coming from a point of treating patients, treating sick patients, but yeah, we would like to shift the perspective more to a holistic perspective, combining the medicine with the ancient wisdom that you are already, yeah, bringing from your Indian Ayurvedic expertise.
Yeah. So the question really arose that never before has there been more medical knowledge, more technology, more information than we've had today, than we have right now. And yet, in spite of all the advancements in the medical, contemporary medicine and technology, including now in artificial intelligence, millions, if not billions, hundreds of millions still experience chronic stress, anxiety, depression, burnout, sleep challenges, emotional exhaustion, which of course is also initial stage of burnout, feeling disconnected from themselves, which means that they will be disconnected also from the world.
Yeah.
So this is in spite of science being more advanced than ever before in the centuries preceding this one. Yet, life is supposed to become more comfortable, more luxurious, and yet all these challenges, if not remaining the same, they are definitely increasing with every passing year. Why is this happening? Which is why we have this webinar and, of course, the following retreat and other engagements to bring this awareness to people that there is more to life than what meets the eye. What
And it's
meets
not,
the eye is
yeah.
just the tangible body. There is
And
more
it's
to
not
it.
only about knowing, getting the information, because it's about living the experience. And we have to remember that in former times, people were not surrounded by all the stressors and influences, stimuli they are surrounded now. and that we have to retreat ourselves from time to time to protect us, to protect our brain, and get away or escape from that constant pressure, the endless notifications we get, the work demands, the social media, and all the worries that are taking our peace,
So,
our groundedness
sending
from us.
sending our piece to pieces.
Yes, yes. So our
So,
nervous system cannot distinguish very well between like a threat, a real threat, a physical threat, and a chronic psychological stress. So in these days, we don't have to run away from tigers anymore. It's a different kind of stress we are exposed. The stress is mainly a mental stress, and many people even don't notice that they're stressed out, but the nervous system is in a constant fight and flight mode. So we are like in a survival mode and never really get the chance to calm down, to ground ourselves, to feel safe, to feel the peace that we really need to recover and to, for example, sleep deeply. So the question is not today what's wrong with us. The better question would be, what are our bodies adapting to every single day? We have to be aware about our lifestyle and about our patterns and habits that make us sick and ill over the time, over the long term. Okay, so when we think about health, mental health, we often think about the brain, but mental well-being is created much more than our thoughts. So we communicate with our immune system, with our nervous system, with our hormones, our gut, our environment constantly. And every experience from our environment is influencing our network. So when we are having like a stressful day, we might notice it when our heart rate is going up, our breathing is changing, our muscles are more tensed, our digestion is slower, our sleep is not as deep, and all these influences cause a biological response and experience. So if we improve all the lifestyle factors that we can influence, like sleeping more hours or exercising more often, spending time in nature, reducing our stress level, eating healthier food, we can actually do much more. Much more.
okay, can I just jump in here, talking about the stress factor and being on the topic of mental health, which of course is not the brain. So one of the biggest misconception which people have is mind is synonymous with the brain, which it definitely is not. Brain is a physical organ which is limited within the physical boundaries of this body. Mind is not limited within the confines of the physical body, with the physical boundaries of the body. Mind can, as all of us have experienced, mind can jump from one geographic location to another. It can jump from one country to another, from one continent to another, from one planet to another, from one galaxy to another, from one Milky Way to another, all in a few seconds. So it is not limited to this body. It's only limited by our beliefs. And once we have a better understanding about the mind, so there is this uh, diagram, there is this depiction which gives a greater clarity about how the mind works every time there is a external stimuli. It's pretty tiny, but I'll try and explain it so that it becomes evident. So there is an external stimuli. There are six organs, five physical organs, and sixth is the mind. So anytime their respective sense organs come in contact, their respective sense objects come in contact with any of these six organs, it is the stimuli which comes in contact. The perception comes up. So first is the cognition that something has happened. Then it shakes up the perception, the memory bank, which is lying within the mind. Now, here you can say within the brain. So it just searches through the memory bank and bases our perception, which if it attaches with any of the past experiences we've had, it will attach a label of good, that is desirable, or bad, which is undesirable. And if it cannot identify with anything in our past experiences related to the stimuli which is now coming in contact, then there is a third uh, possibility, which is of ignorance, where there is no past experience which matches with the current stimuli, and there is no judgment of good or bad, desirable, undesirable. So there is ignorance. And the moment there is this label, and most often in life, there is this label which is inserted by that part of the mind, that is good or bad, desirable or undesirable. The next part of the mind comes up and it reacts due to the past habit patterns. So there is a past habit pattern or past conditioning, which will make us react in a particular way. So if it is something desirable, we will react with craving. If it is something undesirable, we'll react with aversion. And like this, we keep on reacting with craving or aversion to most external stimuli all throughout our lives. And the moment we react, we leave a footprint, in a manner of speaking, which is not tangible to a layperson. We leave a footprint on the sand of mind. And these footprints are what, in due course of time, decide our genetic structure. As these footprints get more and more intense, they decide our genetic makeup, which is the creator of our future.
Yeah, so
So,
this is like a loop, and if
yes,
we are not aware of it, we will stay in that loop. We will stay in our same like patterns. We are always perceiving our environment in the same
same
way.
habit patterns, and we will never be able to come
And actually, that's also epigenetics.
out of
Because
this vicious cycle,
yeah.
which can only be broken. Which can only be broken. I'll just complete this. Which can only be broken out due to the awareness. When there is more conscious living, there is greater awareness in our lives, in how we are living every moment of our life, then we have that possibility of responding rather than reacting. And that is what we are trying to introduce when we are talking about bridging the gap between science and the mind body continuum, the mind body complex.
And in these days, I think many
So
people
where and
are
how?
not really aware of their body perception. So since we are not living usually within us, but we are living like more externally, outwardly, we are not listening to our body anymore. We are not perceiving the signals that our body is constantly telling us. So the internal stimuli are neglected somehow. For many people, it's not like clear why they become sick, because they're not aware of their patterns about their lifestyle. They got educated in a certain way, but they're not questioning their upbringing, for example. But as a pediatrician, for me, it's very critical when I talk to parents that are not living like a conscious life anymore, that are not trying to be a role model for their children, but expecting their children to follow certain healthy patterns. So they actually create an environment where the children can't start their how would you say?
Maybe you can share a few of the examples from your own practice
Yeah,
here.
so
This will be
the
very
development
appropriate
of the
place to share
children
that.
usually is related to the parents' upbringing and education and role modeling. But if it doesn't exist in a healthy way, we cannot expect the next generation to thrive. So, but I can talk maybe about a few stories now. The first story is actually about an adult. So most of you know successful managers, executives that are constantly under pressure, working like long hours, workaholics, having high blood pressure, sleeping less and less, and at some point they are feeling burnt out, go to the GP, get the blood test done, and the blood test, the laboratory findings are completely normal, so they don't understand what's going on with their body, and they're not noticing that they're not taking a break to recover, to reset their nervous system, the metabolism. So everything is out of order, not since yesterday, but since a few years, and the body cannot compensate at some point. So the burnout leads to significant and severe health issues. For example, the high blood pressure is leading to a heart attack, and it seems to come suddenly, but actually there's a history that was neglected for a long time. So that would be like a first example.
Let me, okay.
Mhm.
So I can also share my own example. 30 years ago, I had a crippling lower back problem. So it had spread to my sciatica, and the lower back problem was for more than 5.5 years I was suffering. And you see me sitting like this, cross-legged on a cushion on the ground. I couldn't even sit on a chair or a couch for more than 15, 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes. After every 15, 20 minutes, I would have to get up, do some stretching, which the physio had told me. And that's how life was. Very, very limited. And I literally used to cry with tears. This is more than 30 years ago. 30 years ago. I used to cry with tears, and I used to pray to my God that please just liberate me from this suffering so that I can move on with life. And I got liberated, but due to my own efforts to go within and see the mind body connection, When I was able to see the mind-body connection and what the mind had created, those footprints, which I was referring to, the mental formations, when they were cleansed in a matter of 8 days, and I felt I was as if I was born again. So this is 30 years back in 96 November of 1996. So it's going to be 30 years now. And that back problem, that sciatica, which had literally crippled my life, it has never come back. So, and that was the aha moment for me in my life. And I strongly believe, and with complete clarity, that if I can do it, there is no reason why others cannot do it in their life. Yeah, please go ahead, Jyoti.
So I could also share briefly my story.
Yeah.
Because I was always working. In the past years, I was working a lot, and I never took a break. I never paused and listened to my body as well. I had always lumbar back pain, and I had some herniated disc as well. It was treated conservatively, and I was taking painkillers on and off. But I didn't change my lifestyle. I was eating quite healthy, but I was just stressed out. And last autumn, when I had pain again of my left shoulder, I didn't take it seriously. And then the pain became so strong that I couldn't suppress it anymore with painkillers. And I woke up with a paralyzed left hand. So I had a cervical disc prolapse. It was severely. I had to get an emergency operation. And afterwards, I could move my hand, but it was still weak. It was also affected, and not only the motor function, but the sensory function. And I was like waking up in that moment and telling myself, okay, now you have to change something. You can't continue like this. And I took a pause. I tried to deliberate myself from certain people, toxic connections, because I'm still an empath, and I was there for everyone, but not for myself. I noticed that everyone is draining my energy, and I tried to regain it, my strength, my self love, and self healing capacity. So from that point on, life became more balanced, I would say. It's still not completely balanced, but I'm working on it, and I know that the path is not only found, or my path, my healing path, in the conventional medicine. Another operation won't solve the problem. I have to constantly do exercise, go into nature, try to sleep better, improve my thoughts in a way that I'm including my perception, my emotions. So the body-mind connection is really important to me now. And one more story from my practice. I'm still working one day in the pediatric office. So I frequently see teenagers with psychosomatic symptoms, like chronic stomach ache or chronic headache. So some teenagers actually are severely suffering every morning, cannot go to school. So they become actually at some point depressive. So it's affecting not only the body, but also the mind. They are also anxious. And then I noticed when I ask about their lifestyle that they're usually having a sedentary lifestyle, not doing enough exercise, staying indoors, not going in nature, consuming a lot social media content in a constant over stimulation. So the nervous system can't recover, is constantly stressed out. And that's the normal level. So they don't go back to a more grounded state where they really can feel what's going on inside. They're living in an external, overloaded world. So in Germany, there are not many children or teenagers practicing yoga or meditation. It's not very common at that age. And I guess, yeah, we should start it maybe like in India as a way of living.
Yeah, in India, personally, I've been associated with not only teaching small children from the age of 8 going upwards all the way up to high school and beyond. And the uh, the challenges which I've seen changing over the past 25 years are remarkable. So started teaching them, started facilitating sessions for them from the year 2001. From 2000, I was serving many of these sessions, and then 2001 onwards, I was facilitating them myself, organizing it also. And over the period of 25, 26 years, have seen how the generational change has happened. So you can say 1.5 generations has changed over 25 years. Now it's approximately 15 years when one generation changes, or they say that the generational change happens. So within 1.5 years, 1.5 generational change have seen from the introduction of internet in the early 2000, where they just had that as a challenge, to cable television, and then to social media right now. It's just going from bad to worse. And now I hear stories from fellow practitioners who are psychologists in high schools, etc., and they are shocking. I used to come across a lot of shocking stories when I used to interact with educators over the past 25 years. The stories I've been hearing now over the past 5, 6 years, especially after COVID, they are just mind blowing. Children as young as 8 or 9 are getting into a challenge which kids in their late teens used to face. The kids in their teens are facing challenges which youngsters in their 20s used to face. So life is getting more and more complex. And now with the challenges related to social media, which I think everyone is aware is like the biggest addiction, not only for the kids, but also for adults. And the generation which is growing up on this as a staple diet, they're going to have a terrible time as they grow older, because it's a double-edged sword. If it is not controlled, it can cut the other way. It can damage the person who's using it tremendously. So all the more reason why this training of training the mind, this process of training the mind should start from schools. It doesn't have to do anything with any organized religion. It can be absolutely non-religious. Just how the mind and the body impact each other, and what is the interplay, and what are the benefits when one starts taking cognizance of this concept, which is called the mind, which kids as young as 3 years in our culture, they talk about it from the moment they start talking. Oh, I don't want to eat this. My mind is not in it. My mind doesn't let me do this, or doesn't let me eat this, or my mind wants me to do something else. They're using this word in different languages, but yet they don't understand what this concept of mind is, how integral it is to their everyday life, which of course one just grows up like that, and one has a very little understanding about its importance. And if one is able to understand the importance of the mind in the mind body complex, then life can not change, it can transform. It can transform and get filled with so much of energy, with so much of joy. It's it's amazing. It's something which has to be experienced to believe. But yes, uh, this is something which should be made a part of daily school education, daily practice. Not for too long, just 10 minutes every day. That's all. For adults, we practice with adults in our every morning session for 30 minutes, and then 15, 20 minutes we have interaction. We have question and answers, we have discussions. People bring some challenges from their own life and we talk about it. So every morning, 45 minutes or so, and on weekends, slightly longer. 30 minutes of this awareness, and then 15, 20 minutes discussing challenges of life and how this awareness can tackle those challenges very organically. And of course, in one's own personal life, the sitting is not that short. It's much more deeper. But yeah, for somebody who's just on the path, recent traveler on the path, 30 minutes is enough. 30 minutes morning, 30 minutes evening. After all, this is a discussion which Julia and I were having just a day for yesterday. And we're talking about how much time we spend on the body. We spend 1.5 hours for food, maybe another 30 minutes, if at all, on keeping it healthy by gymming, yoga, walking, running, etc. And how much time are we spending in giving nutrition for the mind, for working out the mind on a daily basis? On a daily basis. This is a question which everyone should ask.
And also, I think, of course, we are stressed. We have chronic stress. We can't eliminate the stress because some like environmental factors can't be changed. So we can't change our work environment, we can't change our family structure, but we can learn how to live with that stress by just becoming resilient. So the stress shouldn't affect us, shouldn't trigger us to go into survival mode. So we have to find ways to release it, to liberate us from that constant pressure. And meditation for some people is difficult because they are not used to retreat. They're not used to stay silent with themselves. They are always used to a noisy environment. They are always looking for the next thrill. For example, children, they are feeling bored whenever the TV is switched off. They don't know what to do anymore because they're constantly exposed to any kind of stimuli. And that's the real challenge, to find a way to tolerate yourself again, to be calm when you are just lying on your bed, you have thousands, at least me, thousands of thoughts in my mind.
Everyone.
I have difficulties to sleep, but I have to deal with it because I can't change my environment. I have to learn how to adapt in a way that is healthy for my body. I can't escape the world I'm living in. I'm a mother of two children, aged 10 and 13. And it's sometimes difficult when the children are triggering me. So, like every mother, I have the same issues at home. And also with the patients, usually they are not, or the mothers, more than the patients, are really stressed out, burned out, and I have to try to give them coping strategies. And in this moment, I notice it's always a system that makes you sick or suffering, and you have to be aware that you're part of that interaction and part of the energies surrounding you, and you have to find your own space, your safe space, your peace within the chaos and the stress. And that's what
So that's what we were. Sorry. So before you go on, I'll just mention this. 2 days back, we were talking about this. That if you want to see, and this will resonate with those who have either children, small children, or young children, or those who work with young children, or those who are educators. I think, is Marta still there? Marta, I think, is an educator, or she works with educational institutions in Spain. So whatever. So you would have at some point or the other, either with your own children or the children of others, come in contact with them. And that is the biggest test for anyone who is on this journey of connecting with themselves, finding their real worth, or making this life more energized and thinking of modalities of doing it. If you want to test yourself, then just see how you behave when you are triggered by children. Spend time with children. If you have young children at home, you don't have to make too much of an effort to find groups of children outside or volunteering anywhere. You have to come back to spending time with them. There are no masks there. All the masks come off, and you are your true self. And the children, by their very nature, will constantly push their boundaries. They will push your boundaries. They will push your limits. And that is the true test. That is the real test, to find out how much depth you are truly in, how much progress you have truly made in terms of your own internal growth. So yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to interject with this. Please continue.
Yep. Maybe I didn't talk about the topic on the slide. Maybe we go back to the slide that you might see now. The body speaks before disease appears. So, as I said, sometimes I have, for example, teenagers that have symptoms. So the symptoms usually are at the beginning like very slightly present. So maybe there's a girl having one day a headache, and then the headache is just treated by ibuprofen, for example. And then the girl is having a headache again, and then at the end, yeah, it's continuously coming up, the same symptom, and the cause is not clear, but the symptom is treated, for example, by painkillers, and then it's like a continuous loop. So the recognition and the perception, what's actually the underlying cause, is neither clear to the child nor to the mother. And I have to, as a pediatrician, talk about like more holistic approaches. Usually I never have the time in the consultation hours to talk like for half an hour or 1 hour if the child is presented just for like acute illness. But all acute illness can become chronic if you're not considering the lifestyle. So the question you should always ask are about how is the child like growing up, what's the current nutrition. Um, for example, what I noticed, the high content of sugar, the processed foods, the lack of fiber, and also the lack of omega-3 leads to a like low, not low calorie, but high calorie and low nutrient intake, and the body doesn't get what it needs to grow and to get the energy. And if you're having, for example, an unhealthy diet, you won't have a good mood. There's a gut-brain axis that we should consider always. We can't produce, for example, serotonin if we are not treating our gut with enough nutrients and fiber every day. And the children, they are really showing a selective eating disorder, I would say, most of them in Germany at least. And the root cause is not always like a disease that we can find in a routine checkup. So we have to ask deeper questions regarding nutrition, also regarding what I said before, time to recover after school. We have usually in Germany the kids are doing homework, they're having activities, they're having social media, mobile consumption of average 2 to 3 hours per day. The teenagers are non-stop using their mobile phones, and some of them are even using it at night. So the sleep gets disturbed. They're not sleeping enough and waking up really completely exhausted, become more impulsive, aggressive. So many of them actually are behaving similar to a ADHD child. They are not having like the predisposition for it. The lifestyle will cause it. So I'm diagnosing a lot ADHD, but I'm questioning that all children are really having this disease. It's not a disease, it's a lifestyle.
It's a challenge, and there is an intervention. Let's practice that intervention, which can be useful for, especially for adults. And of course, once the adults have experienced that intervention, then they can share it with their wards, with their kids, their own kids, and the kids of others who they care for. So let's practice dynamic stillness for a while, and we will pause the recording and stop the sharing just now. Can you pause the recording also?
Yes.
Okay.